Hi there, and welcome to a tutorial using the Quiltler 3 design app. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the disappearing 4 patch and how you would do a design like that. So you can see I've created a 2x2 quilt block here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my cuts, and you're going to be able to see here that I can view all my cuts, and I've got different cuts here. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and hit add cut, but I'm not going to do that from here because I also want you to see in my library that when I'm on my cuts view, I can hit the plus button here and create a cut. So cuts are kind of the foundation of your design. And you can see here that I've got a block here that I could cut up, and I can specify the dimensions if I want to, but I'm going to leave it at 12 by 12. I'm going to go ahead and select rectangle to add a shape here, and you can see that it adds a shape here to the block. And I'm going to you can see if I just grab the center there, I can move it around. And so I'm going to go ahead and expand this to fill up what I want it to represent as my cut as I'm designing my disappearing 4 patch here. And I'm going to drag these open. And that's, let's see, we're sitting at about 10 inches, but what I really want is 8.5 for my design. So I'm going to move that to 8.5, and you can kind of see, or 9, I guess. 9 actually looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and do 9 there. And then I want the other piece of my disappearing 4 patch here. So I'm going to add a rectangle again by hitting the rectangle button, and I will just drag that new one down, down into this spot down here. As you can see, I've got my cut pretty much the way that I want it. And so I'm going to come down to cut details, and I'm just going to call this disappearing 4 patch. And I'm going to hit save. I could add more notes or descriptions to that, but now I've got my disappearing 4 patch here, but I need the inverted cut of this, so the opposite cut. And so I came back here, and I'm going to hit invert. And then now you can see that it actually inverts the cuts perfectly. So if I hit save now and I hit save as new copy, I'm going to just add the word invert here. And so now I have both cuts. So let's go back to the home, and I can open my disappearing 4 patch. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to use my color palette. I could use my fabric library to use fabrics for this, but I'm just going to use these nice gold colors that I have. And so I'm going to select the gold color, and I'll come down to my cuts, and you can see that I've got my disappearing 4 patch invert and my disappearing 4 patch. I'm going to start with my disappearing 4 patch. You can see that it updates the preview, and I simply just tap to put that where I want it. Now I could come over here, and I can actually rotate the cut. I don't want to rotate the block because the block is essentially a square in this instance with a cut added to it. But if I rotate my cut, you can see in the preview that it updates, and I can put that there. And then if we go to 180, I could add another one in 270 and so forth. And now I've got the beginnings of my disappearing 4 patch. And so now I'm going to select the invert, and I'm going to change the color to my golden brown. And now you can kind of see about where I should put that. And so it looks like bottom left, and then if I go back to 180, my bottom right, and then to 90, my top right, and then to 0, my top left. And so now I've got this nice little design that I can kind of play around with. And if I come up to my select tool and I select my block, you can see that it actually selects both of the blocks. And now I could actually come over here, and I could use that rotate tool to, well, not block, I got to rotate the cuts. So I rotate the cut on that one, and now I can kind of see what that looks like, and I'll probably want to rotate this one as well. So we'll go ahead and rotate that as well, and let's see what that looks like. So if I unselect these, it's looking pretty good. So now we've got a little bit of a design. We can remove the grid, and interesting, probably not exactly what I want. I can continue to play around with it, but that is how you can use cuts to enhance your designs. Now, if I wanted to, just as a side note, I could come up to the fabric estimator. This is just an estimator, and this tool is still being honed in, but you can look at the different cuts and size variations and approximately the usage of how much fabric you would need in order to make those. So kind of a cool little tool, again, still being worked on, but hopefully this is helpful. This has been how to use cuts to create things like the spring 4-patch or 9-patch. Please let me know if you have any questions.